State your name and organisation, and we'll just kick things off by asking Stefanos how your preparations are going
My preparations.
for the tournament.
I just arrived yesterday. I'm supposed to practice in a few hours from now. I think my preparations are good in terms of matches. That's what I wanted from the very beginning, to have a lot of matches on grass, and that's what I think I achieved in the last couple of weeks, to get as many matches on grass as possible. I think the first two tournaments probably not were what I expected in terms of matches, but I managed to pick up quite fast in last week's performance in Southern Europe.
Hi, hi Stefanos. Joseph Regal, Tennis Head. Before this year, you were 8-8 at tour level on grass. You're now 14-10. You've almost doubled the number of wins that you have in your career on the tour on grass. And you just won Mallorca, your second title of the year after defending your Monte Carlo title. Of course, you have high expectations for yourself, but did you surprise yourself a little by winning your first grass title this week? And do you feel more confident coming into Wimbledon this year than last year?
If I surprised myself, people kind of doubted that I can play on grass, I think it's fair to say. I never doubted myself. I insisted, in fact, that I can play on the surface, and it remains one of my favorite surface that tennis has to offer. And I was pretty confident about it. And I guess I proved myself last week that, it's not a surface that I don't like. I like playing on grass probably more than on clay. Last year was difficult for me. I didn't play a single match before Wimbledon on grass. I was trying to play on grass like I did on clay, which was a huge mistake. Technique-wise, tactic-wise, it all fell apart. It was, looking back last year, I watched a few videos, highlights obviously. You want to analyze as much as possible, get to see your weak points, and none of it made sense. And I could also tell that from the practice sessions that I had, the friendly matches that I did before, everything seemed to be a bit off. With minor adjustments, you can always get back to where you want it to be. For me, it's a new start here, Wimbledon. I see myself a little bit different in terms of how I perceive the surface in particular. And the thing that I hope for this year is just get past the first round and see where that leads after.
Well, I know. So last year you trained at Queen's, right, for a little bit just before you played Wimbledon. Obviously, you played a bunch of tournaments in Europe on the grass before this year. Is that kind of your experience from last year and sort of how it didn't go so great? Did you just sort of think, I'm going to do something completely different this year and see how it goes and stay in Europe and then come to Wimbledon?
As well, but let's not forget also last year we had the French Open rescheduled.
Yeah.
It was physically excruciating to go and play Halle the week after. I mean, I just came back from a title in Lyon, a final in Roland Garros, and then I had to go play Halle right after. It was definitely not the right thing to do in my mind, although I was signed up to play the tournament. But this year, I did want to play on grass. I insisted. I said I want to play as many tournaments on the surface as possible. I love playing in these courts. I love the shot and volley game, coming in as much as I can, slicing, attacking. This feels right, and we should go and play all three events before Wimbledon, and so I did. Had a very close match against Andy in Stuttgart, and same with Nick. So, I was getting there, I think, and now it's a different tournament. I mean, obviously I had a good run in Mallorca, but we're just on a different phase now. Something new is about to start.
Hi, Stefanos. Howard Fendrich with the Associated Press. It's been quite a while since anyone outside of the group known as the Big Four has won the men's title here at Wimbledon. I'm wondering, do you think it's about time there was a new face and a new person holding that trophy on the last Sunday? And you just said all you're thinking about for yourself is get past round one now, but I'm wondering whether you consider yourself potentially a contender for the title here.
Well, Matteo has done really well last year, so he definitely sees himself as a big contender for this. I'll probably have to get close to what he did last year and then see if I'm able to be a potential future Wimbledon champion, and I really want to. But I gotta start small first, you know. The last two appearances that I had on Wimbledon were not great. And I just want to see something different, and let's just start from that. Maybe week 2, we can reevaluate things and recalibrate the focus.
And in the bigger picture, the idea of somebody other than that group of 4.
The idea, yes, absolutely. I think I can. I think my tennis is suited for that, and I'm a person that likes to work hard. So I see no reason, you know, not to get there, because I'm capable with my tennis. I'm capable with my mind. I'm capable with my abilities as a tennis player. So I absolutely think that I can get there one day.
Stefanos, watched a couple of your matches in Mallorca last week. You seemed to be playing them a bit like a hard court match. There wasn't that much chipping of your return. Do you find the challenge on grass is to adapt your game, play differently on grass, or is it just a question of feeling comfortable with the ground under your feet?
More feeling comfortable with the ground under your feet, I would say. Everyone has their own style of how they feel comfortable. You look at Feliciano Lopez, which is someone that I, look up to, especially when it comes to grass. He seems very comfortable and confident playing on grass, and he is actually one of the active players that has the most wins on grass. And he does chip a lot. He slices a lot. I think that my game is very similar to his. Probably his game is a bit more aggressive and risky in terms of game style. And I try and take small pieces from, we're good friends. We talk. He serves and volleys much more than I do. At the end of the day, you have to master what makes you feel comfortable, but also have those kind of practice sessions where you and your team are gonna figure out and find ways to add something more, where that something more might eventually become part of your comfort zone and something that is a base and it's always there. And that doesn't come with a single practice session. That will require endless repetition and many matches on grass as well.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. Stefanos, how would you describe Rafael Nadal's 2022 so far?
Great. I think we're used to seeing Rafa not being able to play and win multiple Grand Slams or tournaments. And that's where I think the opponents need to be more careful with. When he says he cannot play and he has foot problems, that's where I feel like he's the most threatening in terms of his performance. It's actually a reverse psychology in a way. And I have a lot of respect for what he did at the French Open, playing with that foot. And I'm sure he did play with that foot, with I think it was a broken foot in a way. So it kind of makes him feel like he's immortal with the things he's able to pull off, and the matches that he's able, the level of intensity he's able to reach in times where it's very uncomfortable, and it would be uncomfortable for most players to compete under these conditions physically.
And then how about being halfway to the Grand Slam, given those injuries and overcoming them?
I'm terrible at predictions. I've done few predictions in the past and I'm not good at them. I cannot give you one. I don't know his state. I don't know his state. I'm focusing on my state, to be honest. Not having played matches on grass, I'm pretty sure he will be able to adjust because, yeah, he's Rafa. But for me personally, I think it would have been difficult to jump from clay and play a first grass court match on Wimbledon. Wouldn't suit me that well.
Two more questions. Please.
Hey, Stefanos, Matt Futterman from the New York Times. You said before that you love the serve and volley game. When you talk about and think about serving and volleying these days, and what you love about it, do you think about it in terms of, you know, the way Pete Sampras and McEnroe used to serve and volley, or is it a different kind of updated version? And how do you make that adjustment from the way you play on clay to just so quickly coming in or trying to come in more?
If you check my matches in Stuttgart and Halle, I think I serve and volleyed much more than I did last week. And that comes a little bit with, you know, okay, I'm playing on grass now, I'm more free to do things. But of course, at some point, you try and become more cautious of your actions and your interactions with the ball as well. That comes with confidence. You know, if sometimes you don't feel your serve that well, it might help you to come to the net, serve and volley, to give you a different perspective of how you are perceiving the shot, how you are going after the stroke. But sometimes it can also be a good mix-up to stay back because your opponent doesn't really know what you're going to do. That's how it works. That's the mentality, I think, behind them. A lot of players, some players don't like coming to the net. It's not their natural habitat. I feel good on the net. I feel like, you know, I have good reach. I can cover the court pretty well. Comparing that to Pete Sampras and John McEnroe, these were different times. I feel like these guys grew up playing this game. All of them, they all had kind of the same intentions from the very beginning of the rally, especially when they were on serve, chip and charging much more. I was talking to Mark Philippoussis previously. Yeah, he used to chip and charge a lot, which we see some of the players do now, like Maxime Cressy does that a lot, very aggressive style of play. But it's not efficient for everyone. You have to find your own bubble that you feel comfortable with. I really liked watching Pete Sampras myself. I think what worked for him the best was that game style that he chose to follow. And he did it extremely well.
One last question in English, please.
Yes. Hi, Steph. JG from Game to Love. The question I have is, you tweeted out this morning, who puts his music on shuffle and then gets annoyed when it's not the song they want? I wanted to ask you, what song would you like on a Wimbledon match day?
Yellow Submarine.
Thank you, everyone. We'll switch languages now, please.
Thank you.